Hey guys, it's Ruthie, John, and Ernie. A couple weeks ago, I did a post on a game that we like to play, Creative Questions, and some of you asked some questions for us, and we'd never done a vlog before. So we're just going to answer some of the questions that you have asked. The first one is, what does John do for a living?
Without boring anybody too much, I sell IT teams for big companies. I sell them software to help them manage their IT environments. So it's kind of nerdy, but it's pretty fun.
And he travels like 2 to 3 days a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. So I keep busy with Ernie and crafting, blogging, all that good stuff. So, yep, that's what John does for a living. Question number 2, when do you want to start having children? Which is a question that many people asked.
I would think when God decides to give us children is when we will start having children, right?
It's a hard thing to answer people, especially with that answer, because a lot of people say, well, you have to know when you're going to start trying, but it honestly is something that we're praying about, and we feel like God will prompt us when we should start trying. I mean, we're married, so we're practicing, but we're not trying. So, you know, sometimes non-believers, it's hard for them to understand what the concept of listening to God means, but it's something that we're really trying to do and follow His Word. So we're excited. We're an aunt and uncle now, so that's exciting too. But stay tuned. There won't be a public service announcement about it, though. So, if you had to live in extreme hot or extreme cold weather, which would it be?
I have already had to do both. I grew up in Cleveland and now I live in Austin. Those are kind of the extremes, I feel like.
Ugh. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds terrible. I think I would...
I don't know, because I feel like Austin has perfect weather, and I'm not totally biased because it is like the greatest city in the whole entire world to live in because of the weather. Yeah, it gets hot, but we know how to deal with the heat. Ernie, you just have to be up in our business. Whereas cold, I feel like it's so much harder to bear, and you can't go outside when there's blizzards and ice and all that kind of stuff. So I think I'd choose extreme heat, although I don't think Texas has extreme heat. I don't know. In the wintertime, there's sometimes where it's Christmas Day, it's like 60 degrees and sunny, so I wouldn't change that for the world. Snow is fun to visit, but as far as living in it, heck no.
Yeah, I think ultimately I would probably pick the hot over the cold.
If you had to choose a hair color that wasn't normal, what would it be? You would choose orange, maybe, to be a Browns fan. I don't know. Pink, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
There you go. Yeah, I'll pick orange for the Browns. You can do pink for breast cancer.
Okay.
Really good.
This one is for Ernie. If you had to choose a wife dog for Ernie, who would you choose?
Bubba, do you want a wife?
Do you want to have a wife? Ernie has many girlfriends, but most recently our next door neighbors have a big golden retriever named Angie, and we've been walking her a couple times a week, and Ernie is just all about her. He sniffs her and violates her, but in the backyard it's so cute. Just now, when I took him out, he goes out on the deck and looks to Angie's yard, so maybe she would be a golden retriever. He loves his cousin, who is a yellow lab, so maybe he has a thing for tall blondes, older.
He can't
blondes.
marry his cousin, though.
Yeah.
That would be uncalled for.
Yes.
I would say he needs another Frenchie. He could have a cream female. I think that would be good.
Do you want to have a friend?
He likes blondes, we know that, so.
Ernie? I don't think we could handle more than one Ernie. I want to know, what assumptions did you have before marriage for each other that have been surprisingly wrong, or that you were surprisingly wrong about?
Assumption.
I don't know if that means about each other or about marriage, but something that I will tell anybody, and I've told a lot of other women and friends and even unmarried people, is compromise and communication. We thought we were really good at it before we got married, but then when you're just forced into sharing everything, a home, decisions, money, morals, it's a lot. And so for the longest time, I got married at 22, so for 22 years it was me, and decisions on what would better me. So that was kind of something I didn't expect about marriage, that was going to be difficult, but yet still we worked through it. So
yeah, we're always going to keep getting better at compromise, but that is something that I think is, no matter what, going to be a little eye-opening, having to make every decision together.
And it's not so much John, I have to ask him permission to do things, but as husband and wife, we try to make most of our decisions together, even if it's little things. We're in a marriage, and like God said, we're one, and so we try to compromise on every single part of our lives. So and it's always good to get his point of view. John is a lot more I don't want to say rational, because I'm not irrational, but analytical. He thinks through things. So when I come up with different crazy ideas, even if it's something as small as about my blog or about a friendship or something, it's nice to have his point of view on things. But that's something that I kind of was surprised at marriage, that it was a big compromise, and I wasn't ready to compromise on everything.
But I'd say we're getting pretty good at it.
Especially with buying a house.
Yes.
Things. Do you have one?
I don't know. Yeah, I think compromise is a big one. I think that's probably the one I want to pick too.
I just thought of this. We both have extremely different cleaning types. I'm somebody who wants everything picked up. I just like neat and organized. And John likes things, I don't know,
I'm cleaning surfaces. She's getting rid of clutter.
Right. So John sees a tiny speck of something on the floor and wants to grab a toothbrush, wants that kind of clean, but he's fine with, stuff on the ground. So that was kind of hard for me to... But
that's why we're a good match, because she can do that and I can do what I got to do.
I'm just kind of weird about organization. Like, I love folding towels and color coding and all that kind of stuff. So, anyway... I have to scroll down. I'd like to know what the best thing about marriage is to you both, and a little deeper, how God has helped you through your struggles. Obviously, no one shares detailed struggles on their blog, so more of how you get through these struggles with God being the focus.
I don't know. I think the best thing about marriage is just us getting to share everything together. I mean... kind of what we were just talking about. We were having to share all of our decision making, which isn't always fun, but just being able to share every experience and just go through life, and everything, all the little things that happen at work, or all the big things that happen to us personally. It's just fun to have somebody else to share literally everything you go through with.
Yeah, and just knowing that we have many, many more years of making memories, and the thought of having children, it's so exciting and so fun to look on the horizon, but we're having so much fun just being us. And I think since we were friends before we were even dating, the friendship portion of our relationship is so strong. So it's fun being married. When you like each other and when you're somewhat good at it, when you're willing to work at it, it's really fun.
And how God has helped us through our struggles. That's really just... I don't know, at least for me, the more connected I am to God, the more I can go to Him with certain things, just help in, any decisions, like the home buying process, asking Him to guide us to the right house, and, we had a list of houses, and then all of a sudden they were all bought up or somehow crossed off our list, and the one that was left was the one we bought. It was just kind of, situations that put you into that clear decision that He's put in front of you. So
I think when it's really important to me and John just to know that God's omnipresence is always around us in everything that we do. We haven't necessarily had a manifest presence, a burning bush, God revealing Himself in the human flesh, or even audio hearing Him, but it's just knowing that he is there is so comforting, especially in a marriage that, God created with his own hands this union of marriage. And so why not go to him when you have struggles? Because he created us, and he created marriage long before we were even formed. So I'm constantly running to the Bible and running to Scripture when something is wrong. I mean, if you look at my Google searches on my phone or my computer, it's Bible verses about decisions, Bible verses about pain, Bible verses about, death and marriage and hate, and it's all in the Word. So it's the biggest self-help book, not only for life, but for marriage. So it's just like when you go to your parents for things. God is our Father, so our parents are the ones who create us, so we go to them for anything and everything. And so who better to go to for relationship advice than the person who not only created you, but created marriage? So
Absolutely.
And the second part of that question was how
You take space and reflect with God individually. You pray together. Yeah, we absolutely pray together.
Yeah, that is something that is really important to us, praying individually, but also together. And I feel like before we were married, we were believers and we prayed, and we had a small group, but it was praying individually, and our relationship just got so much stronger in prayer. And there's been times where we've just been crying tears of joy, tears of pain, tears of happiness just to God on our knees together. And that has been just the most intimate times. We have been reading the Bible since February. We're using a study book to read. So yes, we read the Bible, not only with that book, but, we read the Bible separately in each of our studies, but it's something that is at the cornerstone of our relationship, and we try to make at the top of our marriage.
Absolutely.
Anything else on that one?
There's a lot of pieces to that. I think we covered it, though.
Do you turn to the Bible to reach compromise? Yes. Just the last part on that one. A lot of times when we do have an argument, I'm the type of person who likes to flee. I don't want to talk about it. I want to be mad. I want to, be standoffish. I want to give somebody the cold shoulder, somebody meaning you. I've learned to surrender